Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Dustin's Vinyl. What's going on? Hope you like my beautiful purple jacket. It's going to make more sense a little bit later in the show. Jeff made fun of me up top, so I'm a little angry, trying to shake it off. His shirt is worse than mine. So it's good to see you guys. Thank you for anybody that tuned in last night. We had a fun time with the premiere party, and I appreciate you tuning into that if you were a part of that. Very excited. It's Christmas is coming up. It's the 23rd, I guess, is today. And, you can't go wrong with the random pull of the gambler himself, Mr. Kenny Rogers. This is a great, great Christmas album. I don't think anybody has a better voice than Kenny Rogers when it comes to just country, 70s, 80s country music. And this is an exceptional album. It's got some stuff I never really heard of, like that Sweet Little Jesus Boy, Kids, Carol of the Bells, I think some stuff that was kind of written for him specifically, and then some classics, Oh Holy Night and White Christmas. And Kenny rivals the White Christmas version of Bing Crosby. So it's a great album. So make sure you get some. And it's, we lost Kenny, I think last year, and he was a great, artist. That's him with his wife that's been married. They were married for like 50 years or something. But this is a cool album. So I think there's 3 or 4 Kenny Rogers Christmas albums. There might be one with Dolly Parton. And I love Kenny Rogers. I felt like he was he kind of mainstreamed country for, Johnny Cash, and a lot of people definitely laid it down. But I feel Kenny Rogers is one of those guys that kind of took it to the next level of pop and kind of just crossover music with country and kind of top charting hits, and, just a great voice. And like all his collaboration work was great with Dolly Parton and all that stuff. So get this album. I think you're going to like it. Any Kenny Rogers album, Christmas album, is a win-win. So I'm very excited today. This is going to be a lot of fun. I got to change my little thing here before I bring in my pesky co-host. He's always making fun of me. So we are going to have a good time today. I got to take this down because we have a great show lined up for you. I'm going to bring in my host. He's very, very accomplished music person in the production field and security. He worked on the road with a bunch of bands. He's owned his own record store. He's perfect for the show. I give him shit, but I love him dearly. Give it up for Jeffrey Paul, everybody in the building. What's up, buddy?
Dustin, I tease because I love you.
Yeah,
you know that. You know that, and I also love Kenny Rogers, man.
I like wearing women's clothing. It's like it's what real rock stars do.
Listen, it's not
every
that type
rock
of show.
star you idolize has worn women's clothing.
Okay,
your top 5, they all wear women's clothing.
Ozzy.
Absolutely, more than everybody. Are you kidding me?
When did Ozzy wear women's
I've seen him in a full wedding dress. I'll send you some pictures of Ozzy. Ozzy, come on. Sharon dressed him up a few times in a miniskirt. Okay.
Bruce Dickinson, Iron Maiden, no way. Stop it.
Absolutely. He wears a tutu when nobody's looking.
How are you today, Dustin? I know you're...
I'm excellent. I'm very good. I'm so excited.
We're feisty. We are going to look at one of the classic albums of all time today, man.
Classic musicians, classic albums, classic movies. It's one of the top for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't guessed by now, people, we are talking about Prince, and we are talking about his masterpiece, Purple Rain. That's what we're going to talk about. I mean, you talk about complete domination of the entertainment world. I mean, did you know that in the same day, the same week, he had the number 1 album, number 1 song, number 1 movie in the country? Insane. Let's talk about just how staggering the sales figures were for this album alone. If you look at the year before, okay, in May of '83, he had come out with another great album, 1999. Yes. And that was certified platinum, over 1 million copies sold, right? On the first day of release of Purple Rain, okay? 1.3 million copies sold, and within 3 days, everything that Warner Brothers had manufactured sold out. I mean, this is a monster album. And
this is a great album. And first of all, you should have started with Dearly Beloved, who are gathered here to talk about Purple Rain, which is Prince's, just masterpiece for sure. This album was everywhere. This album was, and it's interesting because I feel like there was a lot. It was kind of like people that thought Michael Jackson was a little cheesy. I felt like we're drawn to Prince. I felt like a phenomenal talent, and Quincy Jones, produced amazing work with Michael. But I feel there was something gritty and just different that Prince brought to the table that I feel a lot of people, you either kind of Prince or Michael people. And I feel like I was definitely a Prince guy. Like the first time I saw the pictures of him and just this grittiness, sexuality, and, it was just a different kind of thing that nobody had ever really, there's never been a person like Prince ever. And I think it's, this album just really changed everything for me.
Yeah, I think people didn't know how to kind of like peg him because he was hailed as the new Jimi Hendrix, but his, where he did have aspects of guitar leads. And like when we look at this album, there are definitely rock and roll songs on the album. And then there are songs where there is very little guitar and it's heavily synthesizer.
Yeah. Well, he's an extreme talent. I mean, Eric Clapton, that famous quote, somebody said, "What does it feel like to be the greatest guitarist?" He said, "I don't know." When you ask Prince, like he was quoted as saying that. So that's how much respect somebody like Eric Clapton had for the guitar playing of Prince. And Prince could play every instrument. That was the thing too. It's like he was just phenomenal talent.
And played almost every instrument on this album as well. And here's something.
The Revolution did a lot of work on this album. Let's don't take them out.
They did. Like, no, Wendy and Lisa
the entire band. I saw them actually last year. They're phenomenal. They're such a good band. They did a lot of work on this.
The Revolution you saw?
I did. I saw the Revolution at the Sony Theater in Times Square area.
Oh, that must have been good, right?
Yeah, it was great. It was, it was cool. It was weird, because there's no Prince, but they're still doing Prince songs. You're just waiting for him to come out at some point. But it's like, he's going to come out. I just know it is. This is like a hoax, and this is how he's coming back. And, but they had a guy that sounded like him, and he was phenomenal. And so they had kind of like a ringer that had a great Prince voice.
Was it just
I'm two guys actually? One could do the deeper stuff, and then one could do the high stuff.
I was just going to ask you
that was the talent of Prince. He could do both, but yeah, they had two guys that kind of interchanged.
Well, let's get into the tracks here, and like you said, like let's Dearly Beloved. I mean, this the opening eulogy of the album, of this thing called life. It's a great opening. It's the opening of the album. It's the opening of the movie. It's a great rock track. It features not one, but two guitar solos on it. And, this show is called Dustin's Vinyl. And there are multiple vinyl versions of this song. And the B-side of this, if you can find it, is Erotic City. If you get the long version of Let's Go Crazy. And I remember selling this 12-inch in my record store. Let's bring in Adam Holtz. Adam,
what's up, Adam? How you doing, buddy?
Hey guys, doing all right?
We're doing great. Adam, do you remember this song? Let's Go Crazy.
Of course he does.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember Erotic City?
No.
Oh,
just like Dustin was saying before. So I was a kid in the 80s, and you really. You had the big three. You had Michael Jackson, you had Prince, you had Madonna. It's like the big three pop at the time.
Absolutely,
that's right.
And I felt like me and my friends, I was pretty little in the 80s, and we listened to Michael Jackson. But you had an older sibling who most likely was into Prince, or mostly somebody in high school or college. I just think I kind of missed out in the 80s with Prince. I really didn't get into him until the 2000s.
Yeah, Prince taught us. There was something about like when you're like a little skinny guy, like in Texas, like myself. that you could still get chicks by being like, he taught, I don't know, there's a sexuality that he kind of like, it was almost like that he taught guys to have. And yeah, I mean, I know how to have sex because of Prince. Like, I know how to, like, you know, please a woman because of Prince. Like, it was dirty, and every guy's dirty. Like, that's the thing is like, we hide our sexuality. Like, we act like we're good dudes, but we're filthy. And that's the thing, was Prince owned it. And he, and so it was kind of like, okay to kind of embrace that kind of, you know, sexual thing that, you know, that we're always thinking about. And then Prince, with these songs, he really just kind of made it okay to be sexy and just kind of enjoy this life and not be so caught up, even though he was a Jehovah's Witness, which is weird because he was so devout Jehovah's Witness, but his lyrics and all this stuff was so sexual and kind of over the line. So it is interesting how, you know, this whole thing came about.
I mean, you talk about sex, man. You look at the track "Darling Nikki" on this.
I mean, masturbate with a mag.
Right. I mean, that's the opening lyric of that song. This song is it's sheer sex.
I started masturbating right before that came out, so it was like kind of my anthem.
Yeah, if you're gonna masturbate without a visual, you would do it to this song. As you can see, it tells a great story. And what's great,
you really bring yourself there. You're like, is he masturbating in a lobby? Like, what's happening?
I thought Nikki was
masturbating in a lobby with a magazine. What kind of lobby is this?
Wait,
is this a Hilton? Like, what lobby is it?
I thought it was Nikki who was masturbating.
Oh, Nikki's masturbating.
Yeah, Nikki's masturbating, which makes it freaky and sexy and dirty and like, yeah, I want to be there, you know? What's great about this one too was this was the song that set off those whole Supreme Court trials with Tipper Gore because she found her daughter reading the lyric because she had this. Everyone had this album. Yeah, man. This song had. I know what. When you listen to the song itself, it had like that menacing grind to it. That dent.
Such a great album.
Right, yeah.
And that's the thing with all the Tipper Gore stuff, that all those things just made those artists sell more records. That's all it's ever done. It's always the opposite effect. It doesn't prevent kids from, you know, no kid's going to go and go, oh, my parents don't want me to listen to that. That's why they buy it.
Yeah, now you're going to buy it. Right.
Yeah, I wonder if that's even happening anymore. Like, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, you're a parent. Like, I guess, you know, it doesn't really happen, I guess, right? Like, you know, I think there was a time with us when we were younger that was kind of a big deal, but I can't
control it now. I mean, you know, every kid has a cell phone, and the cell phone has access to the internet, and all you have to do is put in WAP, and you know, Cardi B song is going to come out, and that blows. And we talk about a sexy, dirty song that blows Darling Nikki away. It makes it look like Jack and Jill went up the hill, you know.
You have to understand, Jeff, when you say these things, that like people, you know, a lot of these kids are young, so they have no idea you're referencing Dice. They just think you're talking about Jack and Jill went up the hill. Like,
well, listen, if any of these young kids are listening to this podcast, I'm pretty impressed. One, and two, you know, I am Johnny Lawrence. I think I am the real version of Johnny Lawrence these days.
I'm just saying.
I like the second track off this album too, man. Take Me With You. That's a cool, like poppy, funky song. It's a
Who does
duet.
the feature on that? Somebody else singing.
Apollonia.
Okay.
It was originally supposed to be Vanity. She was supposed to be cast in that role.
That's right. They look exactly the same. I can't tell them apart. So,
they're both gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're both gorgeous. Vanity was Prince's girlfriend. Apollonia wasn't, you know.
I think she became his girlfriend.
Yeah. But it's you know what it is? It's a dreamy song. It has great use of strings to it. Apollonia wasn't much of a singer. She wasn't much of an actress. She was really basically a cheerleader. I think she was a Los Angeles Rams cheerleader. And she was trying for a career in modeling, but she looked so much like Vanity. Prince, you know, had that eye, pulled her out. But, you know, when you talk about Purple Rain, it's hard to differentiate the album from the movie, you know? So, you know, they kind of go hand in hand.
I thought it was interesting that the album came out before the movie.
It did.
So, and that's always a brilliant move. And I think that's Saturday Night Fever did that. Like, there's certain albums where why wouldn't you do that with every movie that has a heavy, music soundtrack to it? Like it's the most brilliant thing ever, because then you just get traction on the music. And then once people see the movie, they connect everything. And then it's just like, then it's a super hit. So I really think it's the most brilliant thing to do.
I think you had to do it with this movie in particular because they weren't sure how this movie was going to go over, especially with white audiences. It was a first time director doing this as well.
Yeah.
Prince had a vision, and because originally the part of Morris Day in the time was supposed to go to John Travolta. That's what they really wanted for the role.
That would have been a nightmare.
It would have been weird. Can you see anyone but Morris Day playing that part?
Well, Morris Day's a singer. Like it's like that they're in a band. Like that's Prince's, kind of side band. So it's like it made more sense that he kept it musically within the family.
Well, I think that's what he wanted to do, was keep it within the family. But the studio wanted to have real box office. And if you're going with a first time director, you want someone who's going to draw eyes. And again, they didn't know who was going to go see this? Who was this going to be marketed to? So originally, the movie was supposed to be released in only like 200 movie theaters, and then they tested it. The album was a huge success, and when it opened nationwide, it opened up in over 900 movie theaters and became this blockbuster. But what I like about Apollonia, even though again, not the greatest actress, not the greatest singer, she had a sweetness about her, which was a little different than Vanity, and it played so well
in lingerie, especially.
Yes, lingerie. She was, like I said, off the charts hot, but she played so well off of Prince. Like Prince's character was.
I don't know. Did she? I don't know.
Definitely.
I don't look at the acting in that movie because it's pretty bad. I look at just kind of. The musical expression that it is. Like there's some really bad acting in that movie. I don't look at I separate the album from the movie. I enjoy the movie because of what it represents, but it's, to me, it's all about the album. I feel the movie's like, it's an 80s movie, and no matter how good the movie is, it gets caught up in kind of cheesy 80s stuff. And so I just feel like, but the album on its own, I think it really, you don't even need a movie with this album. Like the movie doesn't need, the movie, you don't need the movie to sell this album. Like it just holds on its own. And I actually enjoyed it better before I watched the movie. I remember it was like, got the music and started getting, because I was really into 1999. That was my big cassette that I just played over and over and put the little, pencil in and like messed it up and try to, screw it back in there.
The Japanese
over
headband?
And over. Absolutely. And I just loved 1999. And then, so I was looking forward to this, this album coming out, but the movie, you know what I mean? You know what I mean by that movie? Like it's definitely not The Wall. Like it's not a great music movie, but it's fun. It's good. And there's some emotional parts that are definitely great. I don't want to diss on Prince's acting, but I think it's, to me, it's more about the music.
No, but what it did was it really put him in, I mean, he
made him a star. Absolutely. I'm just talking about my fan of the music.
Major jump from.
Absolutely.
Think about what his popularity was, a year before with 1999, and then 13 months later, he's again the biggest thing in entertainment, and never comes down from that. I mean, Michael didn't have a movie. Madonna didn't have a movie. She had a lot of movies. Well, she does later on, but it was Prince had it first. And then later on she did that Get Into the Groove movie.
Who's that girl? She did a bunch.
Yeah, that came after. Bruce didn't have a movie. Remember, in '84, he was just as
Michael had a movie. It was The Wiz, bro.
Oh, but it wasn't based on his music. He played a part in it.
I know.
Okay,
Mr. He had Moonwalker also.
It was great as The Wiz. It's a great movie. The Wiz is great. That's great.
Wait, you're going to say Purple Rain is dated, but not The Wiz?
The Wiz is it's all dated. I didn't say, but it's a different kind of energy, The Wiz, because first of all, it's a playoff of kind of, Wizard of Oz, obviously. And so it's a different kind of conversation. I'm just, I don't like any movie where the person, Richard Pryor made this mistake too. I don't like a movie where, someone's playing themselves. It just always kind of bothers me. That's just my thing. Like Walk the Line was great because Johnny Cash wasn't playing himself. There was a guy that lost himself in this role, and he was able to kind of, when somebody's themselves playing themselves, Muhammad Ali did it. Like there's a few people, it's always just a little off. And that's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. Prince is the god of gods. I'm wearing a purple jacket. I love Prince. I'm just saying I don't like it when guys play themselves in a movie, when they're playing their lives in a movie. You know what I mean? Are you with me on that at all?
But he was the kid.
It was still kind of his story. His dad was a musician. There was some tragedy that happened. It was loosely based off his life, just like, JoJo Dancer was loosely based off of Richard Pryor's life. Like they do that kind of thing where they loosely base it, but it's still kind of playing themselves. The kid is Prince. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. He struggled in clubs and that kind of, it's the same story. Similar.
Didn't the guy who played Boom Boom Washington from Welcome Back, Kotter, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, didn't he play his father in the movie?
Is that who that was? I have no
idea. It was. Oh my God. I'm pretty sure that's who it was.
Yeah, Adam, you're younger. There was a show called Welcome Back, Kotter. And
tell me you don't know that show, Adam.
Was with Travolta, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping you didn't, so Jeff felt older.
Let's talk more tracks here.
Tracks.
What do you guys think? What do you think about the Beautiful Ones? The third track on it.
That's a good one.
That's my favorite.
Oh,
yeah. I'd say that's my favorite on there, especially on just re-listening to this.
Yeah, it's a dark track. I think it's powerful. It's deep. Yeah. I love Prince's falsetto on this one. And that has the famous line, where do you want him because I want you, and that's a great scene in the movie as well, where he's kind of calling out Apollonia on that one. Dustin, you like the Beautiful Ones or this?
Yeah, I think it's a good song.
What's your favorite track on this?
Let's Go Crazy, probably just for the guitar. And I'm gonna be cheese out. I'm gonna say I love Purple Rain. I feel like it speaks to me as the way it builds. That's the best part of the movie. I'll tell you that is just the idea of someone. It's like that Eminem moment. It's like you don't know if he's gonna pull it off, and it's like the energy of that. Of kind of, that's one thing I do like about the movie is that particular moment where it's like everybody's skeptical, like he's going through some shit. And as an artist, that like sometimes we have to perform when people die and when, tragedy happens in the family and, and then you still got to get up and grab a mic. And so there's something beautiful about, that scene where he's, just pulls off this amazing song. But, yeah, Purple Rain is like, I can listen to that thing over and over and over and over.
There's two interesting stories associated with the song Purple Rain. One, he didn't want to write the lyrics himself. He reached out to Stevie Nicks, and Stevie Nicks was overwhelmed, and she was like, too much pressure. I can't do this, and turned him down. And the other one, if you listen to the chord changes on this, it's very, very reminiscent of Journey's Faithfully. So Prince winds up calling Jonathan Cain, who wrote Faithfully, and asked him, "Hey, let me play this for you. What do you think?" And he was like, "Hey, look, man, I'm just honored that you acknowledged it, and no problem," because he didn't want to get sued and he didn't want to be, saying I'm ripping you off. But yeah, it was a song that went to number 2, only to be held up by Wham's "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go." So two polar opposite songs here. And this is the longest song on the...
yeah, and it's also, the name of the movie was supposed to be Dreams.
Yes.
So, this song, was so good that I think that's why they kind of targeted everything around it, because it was just such a powerful song.
Do you guys remember the first time you heard When Doves Cry? That was the song that did it for me.
I mean, that was a long time ago. I was probably in some sort of Camaro, some sort of Z28, some sort of Trans Am type car. Yeah, I remember on the radio. I'm sure I heard, and the video is phenomenal. The video freaked me out. What's cool about When Doves Cry, there's no bass line. So it just has this creepy kind of just weird sound. It's like, it's amazing when you take out a bass line, that a song sounds so much different without it. We're so accustomed to that bass line and the drums and the guitar and everything is, that simple kind of emotion, instrumentation where it's just all together. But when you take that out, you're just, it's a different sound. And I think that's the beginning of that song is so amazing.
I love it too. Yeah.
It just kind of draws you in. It's just like this echoey kind of, this thing. And then it's like, he's talking about fucked up stuff. And it's just like mother and wife, this stuff, parents and love me. And like, it's all emotional. And I think a lot of us had broken homes. I know I come from divorced families and families beat the shit out of each other and stuff. And so this comes out and it's just like, it's almost like, I get it. And he gets me. Like this song kind of spoke to a lot of us that were going through kind of like, broken homes. So, that's one thing I loved about the song itself.
Yeah, there is no real drummer on this. This is all drum machine as well. I didn't like the way the song was used in the movie. If you remember, this was basically it's the lead track. It was the number one. It was a number one song, and in the movie, remember they used it only as part of like a montage scene.
That's because the 80s. If that was made now, they would have placed it better. It's just the 80s, like, oh, we need a montage scene, like Rocky
like No
had
Easy
one.
Way Out in Rocky IV. The ultimate montage scene.
Rocky's popular. Everybody loves a montage scene. It's like, that's what ruined like 15 movies in the 80s. Scarface has a montage scene. You don't, what I mean? Like montage scenes ruined so many movies.
Right.
Even with great music, you can ruin it with a montage scene.
You had a great song, and like you would have liked to see maybe a performance of it, and no performance of it. But like you said, the performance in the movie of Purple Rain is almost hypnotic, and the same thing with The Beautiful Ones. Also, real, and even the opening number. I mean, I would have liked to have seen a better use of the song in the movie, but I mean, it's still a great song. It was a song that that for me that really cemented Prince as a superstar, because Little Red Corvette off the last album and Controversy and the song 1999 were huge hits, but this was the song where it just, it was everywhere.
Well, it was everywhere, and nothing sounded like it. And that was what separated it, from so many other things. And that's why I was drawn to Prince. It just was different, man. It was just this different sound and each song kind of has its own kind of individuality. And that's what I like about Prince is there's this great, if you're on Spotify, there's a great track that came out after he died. And, it's I think it's Coffee and Piano or something, and it's just the piano tracks. It's just they found these cassette tapes of all this Prince music where he's just at a piano. It's called the Piano Cuts or something, and he's just it's just him, and he does kind of Purple Rain. He does Purple Rain just by himself on piano and stuff, and it's just really cool shit. But probably I would say one of the most talented people that's ever existed, because I think it's like you take somebody who like Eddie Van Halen, who's a great guitarist and composer, great at guitar, great at composing music, great at having a successful band. But I think the sound of what he's doing kind of taps out. Whereas Prince would just, and there was a lot of failure with Prince. Like I think a lot, and that's kind of like what's great about him is sometimes it wouldn't work. It would just be this weird music that you're like kind of okay, the Batman soundtrack or
around the world in a day.
This is interesting. There's parts of that are fantastic, and then parts of it are kind of like, But that's what's great about Prince. Kind of like what they say about Jordan. Like he missed as many shots as he made because he's just producing this prolific amount, and so that's what I love about Prince is that he kind of just took these risks and just had this this mind of almost like a mad scientist musician.
Yeah. There are 9 tracks on the album, and 8 of them were written within the same time frame. The only one, and it sounds different too, is Baby I'm a Star, and he loved playing. Did you guys ever get a chance to see Prince?
Yeah, I did. I just saw it. You did?
Yeah. I've seen him, and he loved playing this live. This song he wrote way before, and he always had this vision of what he was going to be, and I always thought that was kind of cool. But this was way before Purple Rain, and again, it's the only song that's not written in what was always considered his heyday. Because he wrote so much. Like when they were putting tracks together for this movie, he had over 200 tracks for the director to pick out what was going to be in the movie. Coincidentally, Purple Rain was not one of them.
Yeah.
And what they came up with. So
sure.
He was constantly writing. He had, there's, I think you could find it on YouTube. He had originally wrote Manic Monday for Apollonia, because remember he was hell bent on making Apollonia a star, and she came out with Apollonia 6. But
Bengals
he had originally wrote Manic Monday for her, but it really didn't go anywhere, and it wound up being a major hit for the Bengals.
Yeah, he wrote a lot of songs, Nothing Compares to You and all that, Sinead made her a huge star. It's like, yeah, he was that's another thing. Like, not only a great musician and an amazing songwriter, and launched a lot of careers. And I like Moore's Time of the Day. I kind of wish they were on this album. I think Jungle Love is it's fantastic. And it's like, and it's just a fun, silly, and I love the element of Moore's Day. Nobody could have played that. John Travolta would have been ridiculous. It needed to be a black dude. It needed to be somebody that could dance. It needed to be somebody that could wear a fur coat and smack a bitch and still be likable. And so it's like, and that's what Morris Day brought to the whole thing. And so I love, and that was Prince. Prince wrote that song and wrote all the music for them. And so that's the thing too, is it's like he launched these bands just almost like accidentally, just like he had so much to give in the music industry. It was phenomenal.
There was supposed to be a sequel to Purple Rain.
Thank God there wasn't. Sequels are never good. And
the sequel really wasn't even going to be about Prince. It was going to focus around the time.
Oh, really? Yeah. That probably would have been too much time. That was the best thing about there was just enough of them, Jesse, now Jerome, like that was enough. They had their moment. Like too much more Stay would have gone a long way. It was, but there was just the perfect amount in that film. But I love more Stay in the Time. It's just so fun to me. And so what's that on? Is that like, how did they do that? Did they do an extended Purple Rain soundtrack or something?
No, none of his songs are on Purple Rain.
Oh, that's just on the Morris Day album?
It's on the Time album.
Okay, yeah. So that's on his own thing. They didn't do like an extended Purple Rain thing. Okay.
No, it was that. I mean, I think the other hit off of it was Chili Sauce was on that. The Bird. Remember The Bird?
Yes. Oh, God, that was a horrible song.
Yeah, like that. That was the thing.
I could do it in this jacket. Looks good in this jacket. You know what I mean? It's, let's go back to I was reading a little bit about everything that kind of came together. And, I also feel Michael Jackson is kind of like, his success, as I was saying, there were Prince guys and Michael guys. I think his success opened it up for somebody like Prince, because I think people were looking, for more crossover type artist. And I think, the fact that Thriller was so popular, I think that was, that helped a lot. You know what I mean? Like making people trust that, there was a new guy in town and, somebody that was similar to Michael in some ways, but completely different in others.
I think what Michael had going for him, one, he was a star before Thriller, with the Jackson 5 and then Off the Wall, and he's produced by Quincy Jones, and he's very, very mainstream.
Yeah, it's all Quincy to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Prince he produced himself, he wrote himself, he plays the songs himself, and I don't think people knew how to categorize him. How would you have categorized him back then? Right. And think about what controversy was. His first song, first album. It was a very weird disco song and very, very sexual.
Yeah. But the thing is with Michael, it's like, I mean, I'm just saying after Michael, a lot of people started, most people weren't into, black musicians like they became after Michael. Like it opened up kind of this thing where people were more open to it because there was a lot of,
Well, you had Lionel Richie, you had the Pointer Sisters, who were big, Dinah Ross.
Different than Thriller. Completely different than Thriller. Thriller was so mainstream. They weren't running in the streets for Lionel Richie like they were for Michael Jackson.
Was it Dancing on the Ceiling? That was
the worst song of all time. Was nothing close to anything that was happening in Thriller.
You don't think it's fun to dance on the ceiling, Dustin? You come on. I think you would enjoy it. I think if you're a little more open-minded, gave it a shot.
Michael Jackson was gigantic, and so people wanted another Michael-esque. I say esque. I'm not saying he's like Michael. I'm just saying he's esque. He's a light-skinned black dude. He's, he dances around but the difference between Prince and Michael is Michael needed Eddie Van Halen. Prince didn't. Prince could just play it himself. And so that's the difference. There was so much going on in the launch of Michael Jackson where, like you said, Prince, I'm a Prince guy through and through. I'm not a huge Michael guy. Like I love the Jackson 5 more than I like Thriller stuff. My girl and I fight about it all the time. It is one of the most successful, perfectly produced albums of all time for sure. But, I'd still rather listen to Purple Rain. I'd sure listen to and I like even the other, the one after Purple Rain was that, what was that? Paisley, what was the one?
No, it wasn't. It was
the movie. What was the movie, the black and white movie that came out?
Under a Cherry Moon.
Under the Cherry Moon.
Yeah.
And, that was a piece of shit, but the soundtrack is great.
But like you said, listen, he tried a lot of stuff. He didn't have to put out everything either, but he did. And also he kept putting out content.
The soundtrack is phenomenal. I love that soundtrack. Kiss is one of my favorite Prince songs. I'm sorry. I like all the cheesy hits. That's a fantastic song.
I still like, it's good. I still like kind of like the early stuff.
Because you don't dance. I like to dance.
No, dude.
You don't dance. Jeffrey, we talked about this. You hate dancing. You hate people that dance at weddings.
I do. I don't, because it's stupid, but I am a phenomenal dancer. It's stupid to dance at a wedding. Everyone knows that.
What are you talking about?
Listen,
okay, first of all, nobody calls themselves a phenomenal dancer. Nobody calls themselves a phenomenal dancer.
Well, I am.
Phenomenal.
I am a great dancer.
Phenomenal. Prince was a phenomenal dancer. You dance as well as Prince?
I used to like to emulate the little red Corvette dance when he would do that little
maybe
breakaway.
When you were 15, dude. But I'm talking now. You think you're a phenomenal dancer right now? Because we're gonna get some video footage. Adam's gonna come over with a camera, and we're gonna see how
I'm a phenomenal dancer for 20 seconds right now. I'm in the worst shape of my life. But 2021,
I get rhythm, back. Jeff, I seen you walk. There's no way you're a phenomenal dancer.
I am a great.
You're from Staten Island. You're not a phenomenal dancer.
That's what makes me a great dancer. You had to be a great dancer. No, I didn't do this. No, I wasn't that guy. Listen, this is how you got girls back in the day. You had to be able to dance.
Girls. I danced too. Yeah,
dude,
I wasn't phenomenal. I would never call myself phenomenal. I was in a
play as just strictly as a dancer.
Were you a backup dancer? Do you have a history I don't know about? Talk to me. What kind of dancing?
Well, it was like I like to dance. I was a dancer.
Did you break dance?
No, I didn't break dance. I didn't walk around my own.
I did some breaking.
Yeah, you had your own cardboard and big fat laces?
I tried.
Did you?
I tried. I had parachute pants. I gave it a shot. I wasn't great at it.
Why did this come out during the Run DMC episode?
I don't know, because you didn't bring it out of me. That's your job.
Okay, well, 4 episodes later.
Everybody was trying to break dance. Well, everybody tried to do the moonwalk. Everybody tried to break dance. Everybody tried to rap at some point. Everybody, we all try to do these things, but I was never phenomenal at any of these things.
When it came to dancing,
not like you.
Listen, I was a great dancer.
We'll move on. But before we move on,
adjective.
I just don't understand the dancing that you're doing. Do you have some VHS video? I want you to try to get that for next week or whenever we do this again. But
I do have video somewhere.
Oh, I want to see some video of you dancing. It's important. I think the viewers out there. Let's ask some people about Prince. Is there any live people out there? Can we? Any Prince questions?
We got Michael Hugo saying his Kiss is my favorite jam. I don't give a damn hell. There we go. There's
He said jam.
Yeah, favorite jam. There's
my jam too. I like that guy. Don't be mean to our viewers. We only have 14 of them. All right, be nice.
Let's see. Mac Dave is wondering, what song would you dance to?
Would I dance to?
Yeah. What song would you dance to, Jeff?
Of a Prince song
What's
or
your
any
dance song? No, you're a phenomenal dancer. Then you should have like a cue that
my go-to song. Okay, back in the day, if you put on Jesus Christ, I put on, and I could listen. I danced to disco. Songs like Savage
Give
Love.
Us a song.
Okay, I'm going to say Savage Love was a song I used to dance to by Divine. I used to also dance to, Born to Be Alive, Patrick Hernandez. But then I also would go to like these punkier clubs. I would dance to Public Image Limited.
Right.
I used to do goth dancing. I used to like that. I used to like
Jury's still out though. Jury's still out. I don't know.
I love dancing.
I don't think you understand, the word phenomenal, what it means when you drop it.
Dustin,
it's a serious word. It's a serious word. I've never said that about myself ever.
Well, maybe you don't have the dancing skills I have.
Dude, are we gonna have a dance off? Because that would help the show's ratings.
I battled. I had a dance battle last year. My son's graduation.
Okay.
Yes. My son was dancing kind of professionally. He worked for like a production company and he was dancing. And we had a dance off battle.
And
let me tell you something.
Did you crush your kid? I still got his dreams of being a dancer.
I still got some moves. I still got some moves left.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're just such a big dude. I don't see where the moves come from.
Listen,
I can see you being a good wrestler. I just don't see you being a good dancer.
Let me lose a couple more pounds. Let me
You've been saying that for 10 years. Shut up. Just be who you are.
It's not. No, not anymore. In 2021, I go back down to fighting weight.
All right. Anybody else? Any more questions?
I start dancing.
Jay Dies a lot wants to know if you had a rap name, like all the cool people from Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Did I have a rap name? Or Jeff? Or Breaking 2?
Both of you guys.
No, but I didn't have a name. Well, the Chess King Kid, they called me because that's where I used to shop. It's I don't know if they had those in Staten Island.
I worked that one.
Did you? Okay.
I worked that one when I was
a Chess King Kid, and
when I was a junior in high school.
In Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, I mean, that was definitely my jam as well. That's a pretty good movie. Turbo is my dude. I think that was one of the guys in there. And Crazy Legs, I think, was in Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. And I did a comedy show. It was a Salem's Arts Festival, the cigarette company. And I was the only white guy on the show. It was a festival. And I had to follow Crazy Legs. And Crazy Legs is an amazing dancer. And he did a Levi commercial, I think, the past couple of years. But whenever you have to follow something that's not stand-up, like a musician or dancing. I did a thing on my album where I talk about following a lasso guy. Like,
I heard that.
It's anything that's like not comedy is the most difficult thing because people get into things like that more than they get into your stand-up comedy jokes. And so, yeah, I followed Crazy Legs and he just blew me off the stage. I just ate it for like 4 minutes and they were like literally at some point chanting Crazy Legs, Crazy Legs. I'm like, shut up, it's my turn.
That's what they used to call me. They used to call me Crazy Legs.
Oh my God. Now you're Crazy Legs. Are you Crazy Legs? Were you there? Did you did you dance in front of me and I didn't realize it was you? Wow. You're the other Crazy Legs? What do you mean Crazy Legs?
I'm the other Crazy Legs.
You're the other you're Crazy Legs too. All right. Do we have any more things?
Let's see. We had Paul Was Kind was saying about the movie that Travolta would have ruined it.
Yes.
And
ruins most movies.
And we had Michael Hugo saying that he loves the story behind Prince's symbol.
Oh, yes. I love that story too. Prince is like the first dude to be like, yo, I feel like it's happening right now with Dave Chappelle, where it's like he's freaking out because Netflix is still playing his stuff because he a lot of these guys, they sign these, shitty contracts with these labels and record companies and corporations. And yeah, and they do own you, and they do, you take more than they should, and, all these things. And so, yeah, so I love the idea of it too, where he's just like, he was basically like, I'm not going to be enslaved by these companies. You're not going to make money off of me if I do this. I thought it was the most brilliant punk rock, weird. I remember it being such a weird thing. Like, that's all we talked about, it was this symbol, and it was just like, what does it mean? And then you can't say it because it's not a word. Like, it was this whole, that was a really cool time in music, because it was just so bizarre. But at the same time, it was just like, he was like, fuck you, you're not going to take all my money. I'm the artist, and it's time that the artist, make more and get more, instead of the corporation just draining everybody. And so, yeah, I thought the idea was great, just very, very rock and roll. Those get more rock and roll than that thing.
And the first time you see that symbol is in Purple Rain. It's on the side of his bike.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
I love his guitar in Purple Rain. Such a cool guitar. That one at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. What else we got there, Adam?
It's phenomenal.
Let's see. Mac Dave
not
says
like my dad. Listen.
Was it?
We just spent 15 minutes arguing about dancing.
We got Mac Dave saying that in his opinion, he thinks Prince's Super Bowl up there, if not the best performance at the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Nobody's ever topped it.
One.
Nobody's ever topped it. It's phenomenal.
And
the Who did pretty well, but the Prince,
but Springsteen also.
I didn't like Springsteen's. It was like too late in his life. He's like too old to be sliding on the stage like that. He looked like Jeff dancing. But yeah, I love the Purple Rain one. He literally, when Purple Rain, when he starts playing Purple Rain, it starts raining, and he still plays in the fucking rain. Like, there's nothing cooler than that image. There's a thing on YouTube, and they kind of document the whole thing and how it all happened, and he kind of winged the set list and the whole thing, and it's just phenomenal watching that. Phenomenal. That's how you use the word phenomenal. You're talking about Prince, and he's like just playing.
Listen, he was a good dancer too. Yeah,
you compare yourself.
He was good. He was good. He was just as good as I was.
Kidding me? The reason he died is because
you don't know how good it was.
Because he had hip problems and he had to take all that painkiller stuff. And that's why he ended. Like, you're not a dancer like Prince, bro.
Back in the day. In the day.
All right, glory days. Okay, we got you. Stop taking this off Prince. But that is the best halftime show ever. Prince, absolutely.
That's a great one. That's a great one. And you guys also saw his at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. When he plays the lead in "Why My Guitar Gently Weeps" with all the with all those superstars.
Oh, and he throws the guitar up. You're like, where'd it go? Where's the guitar? Phenomenal. He just like throws it up, and like nobody knows where it is. He's like, who got that? There's got to be some dude just waiting to grab it. That is a good job. Like, what do? I grab Prince's guitar when he throws it up.
that was cool. So good, right?
All right. Anything else?
Like
before we go into the new stuff.
Let's see. Actually, I have a cool little fun fact here.
Yes.
So Darling Nikki, the strange distorted vocals that are at the end, they're actually, and this is during the Sound of the Rainstorm, it's actually an extra verse played backwards through a vinyl player. And what the lyrics are is, "Hello, how are you? I'm fine, because I know the Lord is coming soon. Coming soon." Oh, wow. Some Jehovah shit. Yep. And he just on the dirtiest track on the album too.
Yeah, I know.
On the dirtiest. Yeah, that's the weirdest combination of religion, and almost like Trump. Like, it's the weirdest combination of like, Christianity and that ridiculous thing he was doing. And then I think with Prince, it's like religion and, this dirty music he was doing. That's so weird. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
I thought the most religious track on the album was "I Would Die for You." You know, because he is like when he's talking, I wrote down the lyrics. "If you're evil, I'll forgive you. I'm your Messiah." Is he talking about his love for a girl, or is he more talking about religion? Is he talking more about Jesus? Because he was a pretty religious guy himself.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. He's Jehovah, dude. That was the whole point.
So I'm just wondering, what he was thinking about there. What do you guys think about that? Is he
I don't understand anything Prince does. I mean, that's what's great about him. Like, it's such a mystery. That's the thing. I don't think you can kind of like pin down anything Prince is trying to convey, because it's Prince. That's what's, look at this. That's Prince. Like, he wants to confuse you. So I think that's why he does do stuff like that. Slips in religious stuff with dirty stuff. Like, that's what's great about him. It's a mystery.
And he's a good dancer.
Not like you, but he's all right.
Listen, you got Michael, you got Prince, you got me. I mean, we're all children of the 80s.
Shut up.
Yeah. But I'm
phenomenal. Get out of here.
Listen, you got to see it to believe it.
I don't have to see it. It's still not phenomenal. You might be all right for a big dude, but not phenomenal. Anyway, Adam, what else you got?
Really
we got to end the show soon.
All right, let's see. We got Jesse Dint asking if you ever saw Prince live.
Yeah,
these guys did. I saw the backup band.
Where'd you see him, Adam?
I saw the Revolution also at Webster Hall, but I saw Prince at IZOD. I think this was like 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. But he did I think he did a few shows over there.
I saw him. I saw him live at in New York City. There used to be a place called the Palladium. It's now housing dorms for NYU, and I saw him there for a benefit show. And then I was working. I forgot what gig it was, but you had Madison Square Garden. And then remember, like, there was like another theater in Madison Square Garden. Is like it used to be called the Felt Forum. Now I think it's called the Theater.
The Theater, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And it's a 3,000 seat theater, and I saw him there. But it was him. He did his whole set, but it was just like a warm up, like he was rehearsing.
Nice.
And so I was like one of like just a few people in there watching, and that was pretty cool as well.
I'm very jealous.
Yeah,
I get to see him live.
Yeah, I never got a chance like to talk to him or like hang with him or anything. But I mean, yeah, it was pretty special watching him on stage. I also got to see Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I told you that story where he came in the comedy club and like didn't leave a tip, and everybody was like, "Wow,
that's crazy."
That's my only experience with Prince. It really broke my heart. I was like, I just want to see a concert. I don't want. But the Revolution was great, and it was last year, and yeah, it was cool because that's a talented band. Everybody was there. The Doctor was there, and Wendy and Elise. Everybody was, it was a good time. I thought they did a great job. Like they really, just play all those songs and kind of extended versions and stuff. So it's definitely a good time.
I think they're still together too. I think Wendy and Elise are buddies.
I've seen some videos, and they're just all really good friends.
Yeah,
they're like, you can tell they really love each other. They're a good thing, and their story is interesting too because they were kind of going with it when Prince was kind of doing these songs and stuff, and they said it's the opposite of what happened in the beginning of Purple Rain, where it was just like he didn't want to listen to their music. He said it was the opposite. All he wanted to do was listen to their music. He said he would always be like, "Hey man, could you send me something?" Like it was the opposite. Like he always wanted people to kind of like collaborate with him. So it was kind of the opposite vibe of they had this mystery track that Prince didn't want to hear. It was like the opposite. And he said all they wanted was he just wanted music.
Well, one thing I think we could agree on is this is certainly one of the more iconic albums of all time, right?
No, it's all right
with that.
Nah,
you think it's just okay?
It's overrated. Of course. That's what we said. It's Prince. It's Purple Rain.
It's Purple Rain. I'm trying to put a little pretty bow on this, to wrap up this
segment. Bow. We still got Adam's segment. There's no bow.
After I'm getting lambasted.
I'm trying to bow. So it's not a dance. It's not a dance off. All right, Adam.
Well, I want to go practice some moves after this. So.
Yeah. Oh my God. We'll let you dance out. All right. What do you got?
All right. So we have So since it's Christmas, there's not much new in terms of vinyl, but this one looked pretty interesting. It's a tribute to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. It's called Return to the Dark Side of the Moon. It's got members of King Crimson, The Doors, Ecstasy, Styx, Yes, and Asia, plus Malcolm McDowell also on it, doing songs from the album.
And when was that recorded?
Let me see. It doesn't say. It just says.
That's so weird.
I think it's.
Just get Dark Side of the Moon. You don't need that.
Right.
You're adding McDowell, singing Money. Like, you're good. Just, yeah.
Yeah. You took on almost one of the most perfect albums of all time.
And there's a new album coming out for Christmas. Oh, look at that. It's my new album. The Zoom album 2020, everybody. It's available on iTunes and Amazon. I recorded an album during the pandemic, and it's my best work I've ever done as an artist. It's really good. It's funny. It's goofy. I talk about the pandemic. I talk about my life story, having grown up in a family strip club and biker babysitters and just dad getting arrested on family vacations and all kinds of ridiculous stuff. So my album, the Zoom album 2020, check it out. It's good stuff. I hope you get it for Christmas and gift it to other people. And it's good stuff, man. We got to support artists. And it's actually coming out on vinyl in January, but you can download it everywhere where you buy music or stream music. But buy it. Don't stream it, because all the corporations make all the money. Every time you get on Spotify, the artist loses money. So buy the album.
I'd like to take a second just to congratulate you, Dustin. I mean,
thanks, buddy.
I think, I am, so proud of you. And you really are like, listen, you could not put you like in front of me, but it's because, it really is very inspirational what you're doing with that. It's like during a hard time, instead of sitting around and feeling bad, you're creating great stuff. And I just think it's great. Listen, people who are listening, and there are people, please support this. It's really a great album. It's very, very funny. I want a vinyl copy. I'm going to buy a vinyl copy. I want it autographed, and I want to put it on my on my wall of fame.
I got you. I appreciate that, Jeff. And I'm going to give your dancing a chance now because of that sincere moment you had with me. I appreciate it.
But I really am. I'm
not going to shit on your dancing anymore. That's how nice that was.
In fact, when we're able to do like a real party, I will dance at the party.
I'm going to get a jacket, Team Jeff, and I'm going to get a new dancing jacket. I appreciate it, man. And for any artists that are out there, I don't know, musicians or comedians or whoever's tuning in, I think this is a time to kind of do those projects that maybe you felt like, you didn't have the time to do, or this particular thing was really important for me because I was becoming a comic I didn't like. And, I had a very, a comic who passed away, this guy, Vic Henley, who was a great comedian. And he once told me, he said, you're more interesting than your act. And so that stuck with me, and it really drove me crazy. It was the last thing he actually, said to me at one point. And so, so when I was doing this album, I was doing it kind of through Zoom and stuff. I made sure that, I really shared those moments of my life that, aren't just trying to get the laugh. Like it's a whole nother experience about my childhood and kind of how I grew up. And, I tried to bring those interesting elements to this, whereas opposed to, because you know how it is, Jeff, when you're a comic, you get 45 minutes and then you just use that 45 forever and you don't grow in the same freaking comic. And then you wonder why Bill Burr's so famous, because he's producing material. And so it's like as artists, you got to produce content. And so I found a way to do it through Zoom. And thanks to Comedy Hub and Twitch and Anthony Kapfer and Comedy Records, this thing came out and I love it. It's the Zoom album 2020. We're charting on iTunes. We're number 5, guys. You got to help me get to number 1. So let's get it to number 1, and so I can brag and, be phenomenal.
Well, I loved what you guys, you missed out on a good time last night. Dustin did a Zoom release party, and he was telling some stories about it. And you have my attention. I didn't say anything. I just was listening. I'm taking it all in. And one of the things that I love that you said was like you went on all these Zoom shows and you would do material, and sometimes it wouldn't work. It would bomb. But you kept forging ahead and not being afraid to take risk. And I think not only with music or comedy or anything, people are so afraid of failing at something. And you went out there and to me, that's the part that I find to be very inspirational. Like, be afraid to fail, and then in it you'll find something good. Yeah,
and that's a nice bow too, because Prince was the artist that just did not give a shit and took so many risks. And I think that's a good way to end it with him. Because
now you're comparing yourself to Prince?
Absolutely. I mean, his guitar solos are all right compared to my punchlines.
Come on. His guitar solos have nothing on their punchlines.
Thank you guys for listening in. Thank you for commenting in on Prince's Purple Rain. We hope that you experience Purple Rain again. It's one of those albums that I was happy that I revisited it. It's such a great album. Still holds up to this day. It's really cool. And so, yeah, thank you guys. And if you want to reach out to us, you can like our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page, Dustin's Vinyl. We need some more followers on there. And feel free to hit us on messages. Any albums you want us to cover, any, stuff like we would love to have some interaction with you guys. Thank you so much. And buy my album, the Zoom album 2020. It's a lot of fun. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Adam. This is a good show. I'm going to go put on my purple leather pants and we're going to have a dance off soon. We're going to do it for charity.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Jeff and Dustin. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you.